every team when they're going against Cloud9 always have some plan to deal with Thanatos.
Well, coming into this finals weekend, Cloud9 could have had 3 possible opponents here waiting for them on Sunday, and every single possible opponent, C9 has already beaten in a series so far in lock-in. They beat LYON in a best-of-3, they beat Team Liquid in a best-of-3, they beat Sentinels in a best-of-5, so now LYON has to find that secret sauce that nobody else has found thus far here in lock-in. We're already underway, and it's triple mid-lane bans from LYON, the tried and true go after APA strategy, the Ziggs, the Taliyah, the Annie, all banned out. C9 getting rid of the Varus, the Pantheon, and the Nocturne. Azir, first pick over to LYON.
So LYON here already, of course, they opt for the Azir side with Nocturne being off the table. There's not the Orianna Nocturne combination available. And LYON want to supplement this Azir with a pushing bottom lane, which allows your jungler to go gank that Orianna mid. You know, Ezreal and Karma will be completely fine by themselves in the bottom lane, so now they can get an aggressive jungler for Inspired to pair with this Azir and pressure the Orianna's flash.
And now the question is, do they go Nami here and try to match, fire with fire in that bot lane, or are they gonna, kind of break the parity in the roles so far? Nami, Corki, really strong 2v2, absolutely can challenge it, but instead they're putting the priority on the Ambessa. This is a flex pick. This could go to Blaber. I know he plays it a ton in solo queue, really likes it. Obviously, Thanatos, also a stellar Ambessa player.
And I think that their bans will tell us which role it's going to go into. If they ban Renekton, then it's probably going to go into Thanatos' hands here because you don't want that lane matchup. But if they leave a lot of the top lane options open, then the flex becomes a little bit more apparent towards the jungle side. So, you're thinking about Rumble and you're thinking about Renekton, these types of things that can float around the top side, and they're banning jungle champs, so okay. I kind of smell jungle Ambessa here for Blaber.
This would be really exciting. I do think if you're going to go jungle Ambessa, having some point-and-click CC to set you up for that ultimate, entering into these fights with the public execution can be such a strong pairing. So possibly they don't want to ban Renekton because maybe they want to play Renekton, because Renekton and Ambessa can be a really strong 2v2. You go forward, stun them up, in comes that public execution, all of a sudden someone's getting knocked down.
And similarly, okay, so they do ban at least one of them, but they leave the Rumble open. So they could also say, okay, fine, you can have Rumble, and then they pick Galio, and you do Ambessa-Galio combination. So there's so many layers with a couple of these champion selects, especially top lane and jungle flexibility.
But there's the Renekton ban that you guys were talking about at first. That's the one that you don't want to deal with in the 1v1 in top lane. So we are definitely keeping the full question mark pings of the flex pick in effect here in the second half of the draft. LYON has one more ban to go, and once more, they are going to target the support role. Different type of support, though, removing some of the point-and-click engage of the Nautilus as compared to the laning power of that Nami. So where do C9 want to go from here? We still need to see what that support is going to be.
Yeah, support for sure, because you want to keep the Ambessa flex like we're talking about, so you can move around if they do decide to go for Rumble, or if they decide to go for a tank on the opposite side, and then it makes it easy for you to go with that one. And the Neeko, while it isn't the Nami, it is huge potential for team fights. And Vulcan has been very good with engages. So Neeko CC, as well as being a strong lane here, looks pretty good for Cloud9, rounding it out while also keeping their flex alive.
And I love the fact that they're keeping that flex alive makes it harder for Dhokla here too, right? Because Dhokla has been willing to bring out some of these range counter picks. You can't slam a Vayne top and know that this could just get flexed away,
you
right?
can always slam Vayne top, Isaac. Come on.
But then you could ask for a remake.
It does not look good here.
No, it does not. And so it's, you're not going to be able to go for any sort of niche counter pick if you don't know for sure what you're playing against. So he has to be basically blinding here.
Yeah.
And as a result, you pretty much have to go towards a tank. K'Sante likely to be that option. It is a draft that is pretty light on engage. Of course, you do have, Mega Gnar coming out. You have the Emperor's Divide, but there's no real go buttons. And I will say LYON to me yesterday looked a lot weaker in the drafts without those hard go buttons.
Okay. Game
1, Game 2, where Inspired was playing Jarvan and Malphite, they looked really dominant overall. Game 3 and Game 4, it was a different story.
So this is interesting because you just mentioned the Malphite in the hands of Inspired. He's used it a whole bunch. If you use the Malphite takeaway here in game number 1, this is a very, very good, fearless strategy from Cloud9, and it's just a good combo with Ambessa. This engage, Ambessa, Malphite, Neeko, and Orianna. That is quite strong.
That's some go buttons for sure, and you mentioned it, Inspired has been playing it a lot. he has actually 3 of the 4 picks of Malphite in the LCS, so he is really the only guy who has been playing it consistently.
And he loves the, like everybody does, these efficient support tank items. He's been rushing both of them with the Protoplasm as well as the Zeke's Convergence. I expect Blaber to do the same. It's part of the power of this champion. Because it's not, ever since it got its nerfs, it's not, you know, OP anymore, and that's why a lot of other people kind of dropped off playing it. But in pro play, you can just play around your R cooldown, and you can just buy these really cheap support tank items and have a huge amount of value for team fights for your team.
And the great thing is, these cheap support items all have a ton of CDR, so the ultimate cooldown is not that long.
So much of that Malphite is the unstoppable force, having that up and available as often as possible, and we'll see how effective Blaber can use it, taking it away from Inspired like y'all already talked about. It's time to head to the Rift for game number 1. C9 have a lot more ways to start the fights, but we know that LYON can pull out some pretty incredible team fighting of their own. We've seen all their comms replays with Inspired guiding the team, showing them exactly where they need to go and what they need to do, and they're going to have to be coordinated to deal with this combo potential on C9.
So Blaber and APA start out almost every game with typing "good luck, have fun." I don't think this is just good sportsmanship. I think it is also a screen to see if you have them muted.
Well, Inspired, he's not getting Malphite, but this is why it is important. It has been taken away from him. This has been such a big pick for Inspired and LYON here, and he has been dominating it. I mean, just look at the KDA 9, 2, and 26. Has been incredible. Yeah.
That being said, though, Xin is a champion here that he also uses very effectively, and Inspired will force a lot of plays early with Xin because it is so good at dueling. Way more threat on this champion. And so in this game, with him actually pathing towards bottom side, towards this pushing Ezreal and Karma here, I expect there to be some options for him to go aggressive.
All right, as the laning phase has kicked off, we've got Emily standing by for an interview with APA's mom.
Thank you so much, Flowers. I'm here with Stacy, APA's mom, who's come out to see her son perform in the LCS finals. So congratulations, first of all, another finals for him. How are you feeling? I heard you just got back from a cruise, too, and then flew directly here?
We didn't fly. The cruise was out of Long Beach, so we just came up today, yes.
Does not know how cruises work. That's me. So how it's now been an entire split, you know, with C9. How would you rate just overall your son's performance in terms of fitting on this team?
I think his performance has been excellent this year, and I think he fits on the team very well.
And then additionally, just he's been so successful since he stepped onto the stage. What have you done kind of behind the scenes to support him in that?
I think we've always supported him. We've supported him for years behind the scenes, and we'll always support him.
That's awesome. Also, so there was a call out that you did on Twitter where I was using this giant head of your son as a prop. So now I'm going to give it to you to cheer him on today. And I have heard we have a game pause. So we're going to throw it back to the casters to see what's up with that.
So good, this split.
LYON is definitely the non-Cloud9 team of the 4 heading into this weekend that leveled up the most. Their improvements are legitimate. They're an exciting team to watch. Those counter picks that you're talking about add so much flavor to this team and the way that they want to play the game.
Yeah, it's been multifold, the improvements that we've seen from LYON. It has been in draft, it has been in-game with their coordination around team plays and knowing what they want to go for, and it's been individual performances that have been a lot better, especially Saint that everyone has been talking about, and has had much better performances. So we'll see if LYON can continue their success, because they have had the much more difficult journey here, you know, playing these back-to-back elimination series and having to prep over and over for a new opponent each day.
Yeah, I like that you bring up Saint improving throughout the playoffs, because looking at APA coming into the year, I think everybody realized that last year was a bit of a downturn for APA. So to see him bounce back here at the start of 2026 has been great. Meanwhile, Saint was generating a lot of buzz last year himself, only to start off 2026 with underwhelming performances. Now really starting to sharpen those edges up here in playoffs. I think this mid lane head-to-head is super exciting.
It really is, right? And it's not the mid lane head-to-head I think people were talking about. People were talking about, you know, Quid and Quad and these guys, I think, even a little bit more. And Zinni, the hype from him, but the improvements from APA I think have been very recognizable. Obviously got replaced on TL, TL is not here in finals. APA is, and he has been killing it. And really just gelling well with the team. A lot of the C9 members have talked a ton about how vocal he is, about how his shot calling is making a big difference as well.
Thanatos putting the pressure onto Dhokla up here as he reverts back to mini Gnar. Both of these top laners are so exciting as well. Dhokla with his counter picks, with his creativity in the role, and Thanatos just being this dominant laner who's also willing to accept that challenge. When one throws down the gauntlet, the other will immediately be ready.
Yeah, and Thanatos on Ambessa especially is one of the most fearsome top lane carry threats in all of the LCS. Last year, like, this was terrifying. Nobody would want to let this happen. So we'll see if he is able to do that in this game. Mid lane trading very low.
Yeah, APA down to 100 HP. Saint flashes forward. Flash out from APA. Both mid laners, no flashes, no mana, 100 HP.
And usually that favors the Azir because you're close to your level 6. You can go for Azir sweep. It's a much more mobile champion. So that's why Saint, he knows, yeah, this is not a kill angle, but I'm going to make you trade 1-for-1 on flashes. And guess what? Inspired can come really early. This is before junglers are level 6, so we'll see about the next grab.
Though.
It's a level 5 Malphite ganking Dhokla right now.
All right, Dhokla only has 3/4 of an R bar. A lot of burst coming out. Public execution flashed out by Dhokla to stay alive.
Nice little angle there from Blaber. This is something that I love when Malphite players mix in, because everyone just thinks about champions like this and Nocturne as they're not going to do anything except farm until 6. So sometimes you can find these angles where you walk in, you force a flash, and you don't really have to commit anything to do that.
And talking about kill pressure, Ambessa kill pressure, the ultimate is a very good trade for the flash of the Gnar. You can use that to constantly pressure in lane. So now, if that top lane is left isolated, Thanatos will have big pressure next time around that his ultimate does spawn. Crab is on the bottom side though, and we are always talking about this 6-minute crab for the level 6 because Blaber goes top side. And because he knows, all right, you've got the Ezreal Karma constantly pushing, you're probably going to have the bot side Scuttle Crab anyway. Inspire does get the critical one. He gets to that level 6, and he takes the vision, so you expect there to be some setup for Dragon.
Yeah, we've seen flashes forced in both the solo lanes, but bottom lane has the biggest individual advantage. Berserker at 67 CS compared to only the 52 of Zven. This is the power of putting the priority early in the draft on the Ezreal and Karma combo. But now LYON trying to make sure that Inspire can get away with stealing this blue buff from Blaber, as Blaber will just try to finish his Gromp here, grab his own level 6. He hits the mark, but Inspire got what he came for.
Yep, and he's using that leverage off the pushing bottom lane. So Vulcan just went for a reset here on the Neeko, coming right back out. Nobody go, wait a second, no flash on Saint.
There goes Blaber immediately for the unstoppable force onto Saint, who just shuffles him backwards, denies any further damage, and walks back to safety.
Nicely done there by Saint, because that is something I wanted to talk about, is that, you know, normally it is always so much in the favor of Azir when you get both flashes down on these mid laners, but flash is very important against Malphite. Unfortunately, APA didn't have his ulti, and that was the big difference. APA used the shockwave to push out that previous wave when he wanted to go for a reset. If you have the shockwave there, I think Saint is dead to rights, but they thought they could get it without that.
And I think the necessary response is going to be, after Inspired finishes up his topside camps, now LYON know, with no Malphite ultimate, they have some pretty good setup around that area of a mount. But Blaber actually sneaks back in.
He's still waiting now. The shockwave is ready to go. APA stepping forward, immediate point-blank range on the shockwave. The second time's the charm, and it's first blood over to APA.
Who said it's not scary just walking at them? And the Azir goes into the Orianna, so APA can just hit the shockwave, and they get the kill in the aftermath.
Wait, we gotta show chat, because after that first gank that failed, Saint hit them with a question mark. So Saint hit them with a question mark after the failed gank, and then immediately gets first blooded, and C9 are active in chat after that. So Saint was getting busy, they're getting him back. This is just the play one more time. It's just a shockwave on the head, and nowhere for him to go.
Yeah, love it. I mean, the wraparound Malphite gank, after he already used ult on you, yeah, Saint's not expecting it. He's like, I already dealt with it. And so he has the confidence, fine, I can just go in for these trades once again. But that is not the case.
Wait, what did you do, Isaac?
This was not my request.
This is straight from production.
The dynamic duo Blappa. Oh yes, it's the Blappa duo. Of course, it's Blaber and APA. This is the new duo name.
Nice Picasso work that they the production
that was
did.
beautiful.
That was beautiful.
Knockwave, you guys are on board with.
Yeah.
Zahungle, I know Flowers loves, and so now it's Blappa.
So Zahungle, I'm out.
Blaber, you have said Zahungle more than I have said Zahungle, so you're in. You just don't want to admit it.
I also play it. But I am down with the Blappa because even APA actually last night he tweeted out Blappa duo with so APA and Blaber are.
It's a canon event.
Oh yeah,
okay.
They are fully on board, and that duo striking first here, it really just is fitting because one of the biggest stories for Cloud9 obviously is APA joining the roster, and the synergy that everyone has talked about, this mid jungle has really been on point. It's been one of the things that has shined the brightest here for Cloud9, so they get their first blood off of it, and you know that's going to turn into Dragon for them as they rotate over. And you have the 3 grubs, and the alert goes to the top side, but 3 grubs don't do a whole lot, and Cloud9 would love to stack Dragons.
You guys are with me on Blappa. Now hear me out. How about Sinspired?
What?
Come on, that's pretty good.
I mean, it's not that bad.
It's one letter of one dude's name and the whole other dude's
yeah, but
name.
It sounds cool. That's the important part.
That's not. No, I can't get on board with that. There's not enough parity
just gets the S.
Bro,
yeah, it's all he gets.
Honestly, I think that is fitting because Inspired is such a huge part of the duo. Since he shot calls everything, you know, he can
earn some more letters.
Yeah, you can get your whole name in there.
Well, he's going to have to be watching those letters because they're above a health bar that only has 100 HP left in it right now as APA is putting on the pressure here in the mid lane. Inspired will just be clearing out his chicken camp. There's not an opportunity to come in and try to punish APA's aggressive play because Saint is so low, he has to immediately recall.
Now this is one of these things that is so nice about the Malphite jungle. We talked about it. Zeke's complete. You get that early item completion because it is so cheap. You get the ulti CDR, and also the Zeke slow stacks with the Malphite Q. I don't know if that's an intentional interaction, but that is why we saw in the Syndra game yesterday where Inspired was playing it, where the Syndra just could not move when you get hit by the Zeke slow plus the Malphite Q.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's not supposed to be that way because slows usually just overwrite and the strongest one.
I'm assuming too.
Strongest one takes priority. But you mentioned, oh yeah, this is so cheap, this support item. Guess what? Thanatos got his first item the same time too. And that Eclipse on top side is getting used.
Yup, he's immediately diving in with a public execution as Dhokla tries to get away. Gnar is nearly charged, and Dokla's still got 40% HP left in the tank, but he does not want to pursue this any further. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Thanatos is such a powerful and aggressive laner, but now in the bottom side river, hold on, LYON stepping forward, looking to maybe challenge C9 to a team fight. Berserker's Ezreal is very strong right now. Remember, he has been farming so effectively in these first 11.5 minutes of gameplay, but it looks like neither side is going to opt for the fight.
Yeah, it was all about the crab flowers. Yeah,
Crab.
there's no dragon down there, but you know, in a Cloud9 game, we're going for crabs.
But it's a shockwave immediately into the follow-up from Blaber, and Saint just barely gets away again. APA can't quite catch up. Both ultis spent this time. The combo is there, but it's only 99% of Saint's HP.
I'll bet that there's going to be no, all chat after that one, though. He's going to remain focused, get right back to base because he was punished last time around. And you're still punished. Even though APA doesn't get the kill, turret plate money, it's one of the nice things about this new season. You can always get these guaranteed little increments of extra gold. And APA here does cash in again. Although, it's not the worst back timing for Saint. He finishes Nashor's anyway.
And you can see it is almost 1,000 gold lead in mid lane regardless, right? So yes, they did only get that one kill. They would have loved to take down Saint those other times too. But he is missing out on minions. He's missing out on plates every time he does go back. And that True Shot Barrage a split second too late to interrupt APA's base.
Yeah, mid lane quests completed earlier for APA. Very nice. Get your empowered recall, get out of there in time. And Berserker rotated into mid lane. This duo for LYON, we've been mentioning, has been doing their job the whole game, creating that bot lane pressure, pushing in, allowing Inspired to do a little bit of counter jungling, not a lot, but at least a little bit there. And Berserker has been quite good on Ezreal in LYON's run.
So I'm glad that you bring up Berserker moving into the mid lane. We're starting to see some rotations, some different assignments right now, but we've got about 90 seconds on the clock until the Dragon spawns, and the Herald only spawns very shortly after that. Do we expect to see a challenge at Drake number 2, or do we expect it to just be another handshake like Dragon 1 and the Grubs were?
I think it's just going to be a handshake. I mean, LYON, based on how they've been playing, I think they have been very willing to give up objectives to try to play for side lane gold, so I think that is going to be the look. It's also just very difficult if they don't have that space controlled first. They have no real engage buttons, right? So if you're trying to walk into Fog here and you don't know where Neeko is, you don't know where Malphite is, it is going to be almost impossible to approach. So unless we see them set up really early, I think they'll just play sides and try to get some gold.
That being said, they do have mid lane priority with the early move from Berserker as well as Isles. The Ezreal Karma keeps up its push, so they have taken over. You can see on the mini-map, they took over the ward coverage and they chunked Vulcan hard.
Yeah, Vulcan's down to 500 HP. He tries to get away. The True Shot Barrage is not going to kill him, but Inspired surely is. He chases after him, and the wind becomes lightning, strikes him down. Now Zven versus Berserker is also going to go Lion's way. It's a pick on the enemy support. Vulcan will be back alive in time for the Drake, but he still has to run all the way back down here as LYON find their first kill 14 minutes in.
This is why every pro player is always talking about mid lane priority. It allows Isles to get in there, clear out the vision, and Inspired, you saw him on the minimap. He reset out of mid lane, straight down to that mid lane, waiting in the brush, jumps on Isles, and gets them a huge advantage.
But I think the funny part about this is that lost them the Dragon, going for that pick, because now there's no Crescent Guard on Inspired. Vulcan held his Pop Blossom the whole time, and Blaber held his ultimate the whole time. Even though you do get this kill, that is a nice injection of gold, you can't take the team fight without ultimate on Inspired. So here is Vulcan face checking, gets caught, does get chased down and killed off, but in the picture-in-picture, LYON's not even going to try to contest here, despite the fact that they had that kill, because they were missing critical ultimates, and C9 held onto theirs.
Yeah, Inspired needs to remain.
Malphite was here and didn't use anything. And I used flash ult, and Neeko didn't use ult, just flash.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was talking about. They just knew, he says, yeah, great, I got the kill, but they have ultis, so if we go, we'll just int. So you have to be willing to give that up, and I think it was so smart. Most Neekos, I think, panic Pop Blossom there and just die anyway. And Vulcan says, sure, you killed me, but you used everything. I'll just save mine for the fight.
And LYON have shown over and over throughout this lower bracket run, they are fine giving up early dragons. Maybe this bottom side, though, under attack.
Yep, Pop Blossom onto Saint right there. Blaber's ready to follow it up, but Saint flashes away. Now C9 finds themselves overextended, and Blaber is trapped behind enemy lines. LYON's ready to reinforce with Dhokla. Thanatos arrives, but he's already too late. The party's over. Shockwave guarantees the rest of C9 get away, but an over-eager dive ends up more money in LYON's pockets.
So many times, LYON have given up early dragons in favor of gold here in the early stages, and while they do give up the dragon, they defend the play on bottom side. Teleports come out from both top laners, and they are there to defend Saints. Nice little pushback as well. It does cost the Azir the flash, though, so maybe that cooldown will get punished in the future.
Saint has been so good at getting away from a lot of these plays, though. That is 3 or 4 times this game where he's able to just barely escape. Blaber didn't have his flash, so I just don't think he maybe get in range perfectly to CC chain. No, he could have gone early. I think he was just trying to wait too long. He was trying to have no overlap at all, so he held the ulti to try to wait the last second, misjudged it a bit, went a bit late. That allowed Saint to flash it. Whether or not it would have changed the fight, I don't think they would have had the damage to kill him, but you know, definitely could have ulted a little bit earlier.
A little bit of a tragedy there for C9, but LYON will happily take it. They're up almost 1,000 gold as a team. The biggest individual advantage there being for Inspired on that jungle. Zhao does have his Sundered Sky completed, getting close to the second item completion now as well. And he and the rest of LYON have control over the topside river. Saint is there helping DPS the Rift Herald down, and LYON's going to secure the objective.
Ben, one of the things on display from this LYON squad is their discipline. Every time we get to listen in on the comms, it is Inspired talking for 90% of it, laying out the marching orders for the next 5-10 minutes sometimes. And they are so focused on keeping their economy up in these early stages and building it towards mid-game team fights. So we are almost at that stage where people are working on their second items at the moment.
Okay. I also like how you bring up Inspired's comms, how he's the shot caller, he's the leader, he's the one who's always talking. We'll see if LYON can get away from this one, though, as C9 looking for the dive on the Mega Gnar, and they chop Dhokla down. Now with the Pop Blossom setting up the second one. Isles could also be in danger. Vulcan and Thanatos continue their chase, and the Blooming Burst takes Isles out of the picture. C9 pick up 2.
I mean, that time the combo was perfect. As soon as Dhokla went forward with that crunch, he instantly gets ulted by the Malphite, then ulted by the Ambessa, burst down by C9. They get the tower, they get 2 kills, they reclaim the gold lead ever so slightly here, and they're going to be so happy about how that play worked out.
Yep, and then the payment on the other side of the map, Rift Herald used up there, Saint pushing in, trying to get more money on the Azir, but Cloud9, they retake the gold lead.
We need in. We should dive out, we should dive out.
Okay, then I'm going this way. Okay, HP.
I'm going.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm walking up.
I'm not coming, guys.
Yeah. I'm looking, I guess. Yeah, I'm looking.
I reach.
Look, Gnar, look, Gnar.
Yeah.
No,
Cover.
Look, Zin's top side.
I can maybe play.
Nice, guys. Really good.
I think you placed
Yeah, very good to get both of the kills there on the chase down, and no hesitation with Ambessa and Malphite. That is going to be some good CC layering.
You had better believe it, my friend, but now there's 60 seconds on the clock until the next Drake spawns. C9 have already secured the first two, and now it'll be up to LYON to try to stop them from acquiring Soul Point. But again, it's what you all mentioned earlier. It's really hard for LYON to approach an objective that's in C9-controlled territory.
And you do not want to give Mountain Soul over to a Malphite. That is going to be a
it's
problem.
thematically appropriate.
It is. That is some rock on rock action. As we have Saint here with the Seekers now, so he has a response to this potential engage. He has been quick to be able to respond to these, and now has an extra tool to do it.
Does Malphite not already have a soul of a mountain? He is a literal mountain in the lore.
Maybe he's soulless.
Oh,
Look, Kobe, if you have a pile of rocks, you know what happens if you add another rock to it? You have a bigger pile of
Rock
rocks.
on rock,
That is
like I
just
said.
better.
2 souls.
All right, 2 souls, 2 mountains, 2 Malphites, and an Ambessa ulti over the wall going after Dhokla, who's trapped in mini-Gnar form, trying to get away. Thanatos' pressure should be more than enough, but a nice defensive Mega Gnar across the map at the same time. C9's under pressure, LYON going in, looking to find the kill, while Dhokla still runs away here in the top side. So C9 hasn't lost anybody in the bottom fight here just yet, but APA is under immense pressure. Inspired chasing after the mid laner, and he finds him. He's still alive. LYON are on the hunt, but Inspired finally falls. Blaber looks for a little bit more as Berserker wants to hunt down Vulcan. The last little bit of damage comes in from the auto attack. It's a double kill for the Ezreal. Dhokla's coming back around. Remember, he never died in the top lane. Blaber and Thanatos have to try to get away, but Thanatos might just have his days numbered. Berserker does so much damage. Thanatos barely lives, but Berserker takes him out. LYON, show their stuff.
What an incredible opening game to the finals. It is just punch after punch. One side of the map, won by Thanatos on the top side, but it's not enough. He then teleports in earlier, and the LYON squad already won the bottom side fight. Look at Inspired. He's the one who flashes. He's the one who starts it out and keeps the chase going. Speed up from Karma allows him to get in.
Exactly, and then they try to go for the turn here, but look at the Seekers timing from Saint. Perfectly Seekers the Malphite ult, being able to immune that. And then Inspired preps the Q3, flashed in on APA, instant knockup, pressing guard, dash over the wall, chases down and finishes off APA. This was beautifully played by Inspired and Saint. And once those big cooldowns are used, Berserker's unleashed. They have nothing to threaten him, so he's just going forward.
Huge, huge stuff here. They get the kills, they get the dragon afterwards. They chose their moment. And again, even though Thanatos, he chased Dhokla off the top side, and he got to teleport in first. His team had already lost the fight. Berserker, Dhokla going to finish this one. It's okay. They keep up the chase, and Berserker's able to get that money on top of it. Berserker, by the way, has just been exceptional for LYON throughout this lower bracket run on the Ezreal. Again, chasing down and putting in the big damage.
Look at this gold. We're dead even here after that.
Incredible
after all
opener.
of this, it is dead even. A couple hundred gold right now, not even separating these two teams. It's 2 dragons to 1. This is gonna be a banger game.
And this is what people were hoping for with this matchup, with LYON powering up through the lower bracket of this lock-in tournament, and now being able to challenge Cloud9 very effectively. Such a close game we have on our hands.
All right, also looking, though, at that Seeker's arm guard we mentioned earlier for Saint, was important during the previous fight, is now broken, needs to build that towards the completed Zonias to continue to have that effect.
Has the gold for it right
Yeah,
now, so
he
he's
can
gonna go
fix
back
it.
to base.
He'll go back and complete that one on the other
Lock
side.
repair shot.
Blackfire Torch plus Shadow Flame. Done for the Orianna. So APA will do plenty of damage. You saw in the replay of the last fight, Isles died instantly because that was the target of the shockwave of the combo there with the Malphite. But if you're sending everything in the kitchen sink at support Karma, there's probably not enough left for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, and that was the problem with the Seekers, because it was supposed to hit both of them, but because of Saint, it didn't, right? He immuned that. Now he has the stasis ready once again, and he's gonna have the flash. So as long as he's reacting quickly, it's 2 more Malphite ults before you're going to hit a Malphite ult, at the very least, right? Like, you've got to get the flash and you've got to get the stasis.
You got to look at the next big shockwave combo from Cloud9. APA here has a very damaging build with 2 items plus a Malphite delivering it with an Abyssal on that Malphite. It will amplify the damage. So if they get a good Malphite and Orianna combination here, I mean, ideally you get a bunch of members, but you could even delete a primary target if it's one of the main carries here, mainly Berserker, because Saint still has his fixed Zhonyas, and Berserker has no flash. So if you can do that, it would be super, super worth. But again, these fights are coming down to execution with being able to hit these huge ults.
And I just love Abyssal here. I think it makes a ton of sense. Obviously, you need some MR against this Azir, but also you're amping Orianna, as you said, and the Neeko, and your own damage. So it's going to be very, very effective. A lot of upfront burst here. Even the Malphite, with the electrocute and the upfront just base damages, does a lot of damage at the start of the fight. Obviously, thereafter, you're not really doing anything, but the initial combo is so powerful.
And you mentioned earlier, Azael, like the gold is dead even after 20 minutes of gameplay. But the big advantage for LYON is Berserker specifically. He's got his third item fully completed now with the Spear of Shojin. This Ezreal has to be raid boss status.
And he certainly has shown that. Since returning to North America, he has been very, very good. Let's see about this rotation, though, because Orianna, typically in this stage of the game, it is a little bit dangerous to go to these side lanes, and that is an advantage for Azir. So APA is playing it very cautiously. It means that you give up little timing windows, about 30 seconds, a little bit less now as they change how minion waves spawn with the new season, but you give a little bit of a first move to the Azir because of the mobility and the extra power in side lanes, considering you don't have super deep vision to watch junglers either. So Orianna is on top side, has to catch one more wave before returning to the big fight. Meanwhile, you see Saint on the minimap doing a little hover play.
All right, Dhokla jumping in after Thanatos. He knows he has Saint coming up behind him. He's about to transform into the Mega Gnar. Beautiful use of the public execution to buffer through the Mega Gnar CC, allows Thanatos to continue walking away.
And that respect from Thanatos in the side lane, knowing that there could be a move from the Azir. Inspired, trying to move in as well. They are going to continue the pressure. It is technically traded towers, but they're going to get the tower on bot side first, and they're going to get the early move once again.
And you talked about how good Berserker has been and how he's created this advantage. I think that is really important because when we look back to last series, think about how C9's bot lane was looking. They were creating monstrous leads every single game, it felt like, across playoffs. This is their 2 series here against Fly and then Sentinels. That was an 8,600 gold lead when the Nexus fell. He was always so far ahead. This is the first time it feels like we're seeing him down.
Nice shockwave from APA to pull Dhokla back. Does not actually put him in lethal range, but critically it makes his Sterix gauge pop. So if there is a big fight in the next 90 seconds or so, Dhokla is going to be significantly easier to kill. The entire time, though, Inspired is taking out this Mountain Drake. That's going to tie the Drakes up at 2-2 and bring this game even closer to absolute parity.
Yeah, Dhokla's job is weak side over here. And, he's able to clear the wave. The turret plate actually doesn't even fall there, the second one, so just barely. He doesn't even give up an extra little tick of gold. And Inspired, as you say, even these early Mountain Drakes before we get to the Soul are quite nice for durability.
All right, let's see if we're going to get anybody trying to make any sneaky Baron plays happen. We are at almost 27 minutes on the clock. We are starting to see 3 fully completed item points come online for multiple different players on both teams. A big team fight could really be the thing that blows this game open, considering how close it's been the entire time.
Yeah, a big team fight or maybe a sneaky pick. We do have a Neeko on the map. Everybody's got to keep track. This mid game is where it gets a little bit more difficult keeping track of this champion, especially with all these control wards here from Cloud9, from Vulcan. You have to be very careful. When there's low health towers, sometimes those can be used as bait, but Berserker, he's just going to annihilate the tower. Ezreal, very safe. He's got Isles next to him, so you have this. Wait a minute, Inspired's going in.
Yeah, Inspired chasing after Vulcan there only chunks him a little bit. Honestly, not a ton of pressure, but it still allows LYON to maintain control over this topside river as Vulcan can't get in to try to sweep away any wards or make any moves.
It's important to always go attack the Neeko because support Neeko, just chunk her early on, and Inspired has always had his eyes out trying to spot the enemy engage.
Also worth pointing out that the Serpent's Fang has been grabbed, which I love when you can actually tech into that on a melee champion where it is quite effective because it has a higher percentage reduction on the shields. And you're thinking about Sterix on the other side, you're thinking about Karma on the other side, you're thinking about Ezreal Barrier. A lot of these tools that can be reduced because Mantra Shield, that Mantra Inspire coming through from the Karma, can really make a big difference.
And even just as lethality items go, Serpents is really efficient too. So it's not even like, oh, I'm going so far out of my way to help the team cut down these shields.
And you tell them that you are.
Exactly.
So then they have to gank for you.
Yeah, you get those extra points.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 minutes until our next dragon spawns. Blaber is just trying to clear away a little bit of vision as LYON is mostly grouped up back in mid lane. You could see Dhokla taking his recall down here in the bottom side as Thanatos continues just trying to push out the bottom lane, make sure that C9 side lanes stay in a good state.
And again, it's this small window. You saw another timing where they had pushed in top wave, so you see the Orianna very safely and tentatively grabbing the minion wave, but everybody else on Cloud9 has to give a little space on the other side of the map while they know, all right, we could be outnumbered here. There's an extra roam timer on the side of LYON. Nobody dropping and allowing the Orianna to actually push really far on that second one. They have so many wards over the Baron area for the side of Cloud9 that, you know, they've actually taken control and putting a little bit of information pressure on LYON.
C9 with control over the top side river, and it's very, very dark in this fog of war for LYON. So dangerous against a Malphite and an Orianna and a Neeko. But LYON have to make sure that C9 is not just taking away the Baron. Blaber going to push into enemy territory here as Inspired does secure his own blue before C9 moves over.
And as the pace of the game has really slowed down, I will say I do think Malphite in a slower game is often less effective because you're playing on a zero ping environment, and if they have flash every fight, you're expecting Berserker and Saint to be able to flash that if they have any vision on the Malphite whatsoever. So that can be a difficulty. You then almost need CC coming out before, or you need to be, you know, from fog over a wall to get that kind of speed up on the Malphite ult.
Yeah, that's why I love this attention to so much vision here. So many control wards, because Malphite would benefit from coming out of a brush with short distance. Neeko would benefit hugely as well with information advantage. So it's something that doesn't show up on the scoreboard, but can have a really big effect on who is actually winning the current game state. And Cloud9 have been able to push out a lot of these LYON wards. That being said, you know, they're trying to kill Berserker, and it's an Ezreal with Flash, with Barrier, with Karma always next to him, so it's a very mobile person. You're probably going to have to see, like, even flashing for a shorter range Malphite ultimate, so it's quicker, or trying to do it from fog, as you say, over a wall, or with Neeko one direction, Malphite the other direction. Again, though, the Abyssal on the Malphite means if he's got that Orianna ball on him as well, you're going to get a huge burst of damage, a huge combo.
And with 30 seconds left until the next Drake spawns, you can see C9 shifting their vision control from the top side river over to the bottom side. They want to make LYON check into this dangerous fog of war. They want to give Blaber the opportunity, or Vulcan the opportunity, to make this surprise play that can actually catch someone. Saint is going to teleport now towards mid lane, and LYON are all moving towards the top side of the river, potentially to start the Baron. Inspired has already begun it.
Yeah, they're trying to get this teleport off of Ambessa, off of Thanatos right now. They're trying to pressure Cloud9. Currently, Thanatos still pushing. He's going to get up to the tower now. LYON.
Okay, Baron's already at half HP. Dhokla's got the Gnar bar charged. He transforms into Mega, as now the TP will come through. Thanatos ready to join the fight. Inspired and LYON have the Baron down to 3,000 HP. Inspired jumps in. He wants to go for the combo. Zven's already down to 40%. Baron at 2.7k. Inspired not dead yet as the pressure's on Zven. APA's about to fall, and it's going to be claimed by Blaber. They got the Baron, but now they're going to try to get out. Saint goes in for a big shuffle. Dhokla dies to Thanatos. LYON continues trying to get away, and C9 hasn't lost a man. A double kill back over to Thanatos. He takes out Inspired. Berserker's on a rampage, though, and the Ezreal still got plenty of HP. C9 still hanging around. They want to see what else they might get, but what a fight. What a sequence for C9.
Blaber with the huge smite, and then he goes over the wall to escape, and even though Saint tries to chase him down and shove him back in, they can't win the inside of the fight because Ambessa.
Only me and Azir play for Nash, guys. Everyone else plays for the team fight.
Watch Zven. Nice, flashing in. No flash, guys. No flash, no E. I'm stop watch.
I got Baron.
I'm looking.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Look bad. Azir after Zion.
Or Zeno flash. Look, nice.
I have to base to B. Come back.
Zeno flash, Thanatos.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can base to B. I'm coming.
Sorry, we get Drake, guys. We get Drake.
I mean, that was the slimmest of margins there. Imagine they kill APA before he gets the Zonias off, right? He was down to about 5% HP, but he's able to Zonias, flash out, still contribute to that fight in a very meaningful way. Zven as well was down to about 20% HP. LYON just could not finish these critical kills, while Thanatos on the other side absolutely could.
Honestly, to me, this is what League of Legends is all about. These close games when you get to the late game objective and everyone is feeling the pressure. There's two sides of the fight. We're on Baron. We're turning. We're trying to win the team fight. We're trying to get the objective at the same time. That is just the ultimate stress, but also the ultimate reward when you do come up with the big win. And Cloud9 now, with Dragon's Soul Point, with the gold lead, with the Baron buff, it is their turn to push.
Exactly. It's what I was saying earlier. When the game is this close for this long, generally it's one big team fight that really warps things. 4,000 gold lead. The Mountain Drake Soul Point that they earned after the Baron was taken while we were in the replay. And now pressure in the bottom lane as C9 are looking to just battering ram their way into the base. And LYON is nowhere nearby. They don't want to try to defend against this for now. They're going to sacrifice this first inhibitor as C9 will claim it for free. And it looks like they're going to keep moving forward. They're saying, LYON, you have got to come answer this. C9 continuing to cautiously move up. True Shot Barrage only hits Blaber. APA taking the focus here from Inspired as C9 groups up to protect their mid laner. Inspired still looking for a little bit more, but he does get slowed down by the Malphite. Dhokla's got the Gnar bar. LYON used the Zin ulti. Dhokla goes in, but he goes in alone. The Gnar is going to die behind enemy lines as APA takes the kill. Public execution from Thanatos is just about ready to kill Berserker, and the blooming burst writes his epitaph. LYON in a 3v5. C9 on the hunt for Nexus turrets. Saint, Isles, and Inspired trying to defend, but C9 still has the Baron for a couple more seconds. They'll continue pushing forward. That first Nexus turret already about to die. Death timer still at over 30 seconds for the two dead LYONs as C9 will now switch their attention back over towards mid lane and make their exit.
Yeah, man, Cloud9, they're going to demolish a few more plays here. Zven going to get the last one and open up the mid lane turret as well. Thanatos is recalling at the moment. I think it should be fine, but they're going another free kill!
The Wombo combo, unstoppable force plus shockwave. Blink and you'll miss it. Isles is gone, and that's right when Berserker and Dhokla are about to respawn. So you've still got this power vacuum that LYON can't meet because they're 4v5 for the next 30 seconds again.
And Thanatos, he's almost level 20 here. He has Guardian Angel completed. He is an assassin on this Ambessa, and he has 2 lives. And we'll take a look at how they kite. And this is a tale of like differences in coordination. Dhokla here, you look at Inspired, was already walking way back. So I don't know what went on with the call for that one. But then Thanatos, look at this ultimate. Yes, Berserker's able to Arcane Shift. He does not care. Thanatos nails him with the snipe.
Yeah, last week we were talking so much about Thanatos wanting his first player of the game and the rest of the team always outshining him. I'll tell you fellas what, Thanatos is my player of the game so far in this one. His dominance in the side lane, his contribution in the team fights, his mechanical execution when he needs to click correctly, he has been on point in game number 1. This man wants to go to first stand.
Meanwhile, the rest of Cloud9 agree. And they're going to 4-1 split push Flowers. Top side here will be left to Thanatos, while the rest of the team continues on that open mid lane that they had opened up previously. And now with the previous play, they also have such a big gold lead. Look at the itemization difference here. Yeah. Quite the extra advantage. Oh, wow, thank you. They switch right back to the items perfectly. And we can see the Azir turret does go up, though, so defense 4 line. There's still possibilities, you know, it's not quite over yet. There is a Dragon Soul that is 40 seconds away, but there's still hope. LYON trying still to find an opening, see if they can catch anyone, maybe with a lazy recall or splitting off from the squad. Now,
wait, hold on, Inspired jumps in. He wants to kill APA, but instead, the stasis protects the Orianna. Now Saint goes in for the follow-up jump. They got him! And APA is down! LYON might have found their fight. Blaber's got to flash away now, too, as Inspired and Saint are about to drop. Zven's got the damage onto the Azir, and Blaber picks one up back onto Inspired. Dhokla, Berserker, and Isles all on the run. C9 continue their push in a 4v3. Thanatos turns his attention immediately over to the Nexus turret as Berserker fires back towards Vulcan. He nearly kills him, but close isn't good enough. Zven and Thanatos are ending the game. The Nexus is under pressure, and C9 takes game 1.
Oh my goodness, what an opening game! That one certainly delivered.
Damn, that was a great start to this series. Lounge, what do you got?
Oh, man, C9. It was looking dicey for a minute there. I actually thought that LYON might be able to take it. But C9, they're just too good in the late game.
Give me 4 more of those. I mean, you got to see some of the best parts of both teams, I think, Emily.
Yeah, and we were curious to see how they'd kind of go up against each other. The gold was even, or like close to even, within 1K for so long in this game, and it was so back and forth.
And I got a couple clips to go over.